First up is Friday's Telegraph, and Leo seemed like someone's actually been brave and said the word no.
Yeah, to transgender athletes doesn't happen often, so World Athletics has made the landmark decision to ban transgender women from competing in female international events. They'd initially suggested this preferred option that would include transgender women if they had reduced testosterone. But the issue with that is that going through male puberty conveys certain advantages that don't go away when your testosterone levels reduce. You get like a larger skeleton, you get greater muscle mass, it's easier to parallel park outside the stadium.
I'm looking forward to going through it.
Going through what? Oh, right.
Puberty. I thought about saying that a minute ago. I thought we've all got beards. That's not a realistic joke.
Yeah. But yeah, women's sport was becoming this sort of dumping ground for mediocre male athletes. You could be 400th in the world as a male and then absolutely, trounce the opposition, being a foot taller and much heavier. In the female category.
What I love about this, they've banned sort of biological men from women's sport. They've also banned Russians. So they kind of the motto is you can't invade a country or a sport. That seems to be how it works.
But Russian women, you don't know really what sex they are anyway.
Yeah, they had that issue in the 80s with lots of Russian female athletes on testosterone.
But they're known for their beauty, aren't they, Russian women as well? Let's be very fair.
Not the ones,
that is true.
Hammer throwers.
Yeah. I'm not really in favour of the banning of Russians, but I am in favour of obviously banning men from women's sport. I mean, people have just it's hitting a point now where people have just there's only so much absurdity people can tolerate. And the Isla Bryson case, which was also appalling, and just these sports. I saw a montage the other day, just biological men just trashing women in so many sports. Hasn't it just
make you happy?
Well, it was great, but hasn't it made a point?
For a misogynist, this is quite a volte fast for you.
No, I've always been supporting women, despite what people say. I've been defending women on this show many times. No, I've been defending women tirelessly from this nonsense about this changing rooms and the sports. It completely destroys women's sports, as we know. So this is a great step.
Yeah, I mean, I guess from the point of view of inclusion, I mean, it's inclusive. You can identify as a woman, sure. You can, and we'll use pronouns and be polite and stuff. But you can't identify as a female boxer and then go like Fallon Fox and then go into the ring and crush a woman's skull. A woman had her orbital bone shattered by Fallon Fox. She said she'd never felt strength like it.
It's incredible. I mean, sports has become the sort of flashpoint for this whole debate because for the ideology sort of propagators, for them it's like trans women are literal women. But of course, when you talk about sport, anybody with half a brain would just go, there's a massive size differential, strength differential, all of the other stuff. Yeah. Science backs it up. So to see some of these people like Ash Sakar and various other quite clever people sort of tying themselves in knots to kind of somehow justify what is obviously unfair and the whole reason for women's sports in the first place. But finally now, adults, it seems, have stood up and respect to Seb Coe for just calling it out. It's Emperor's New Clothes. I know everyone says that all along, but that's what it is.
Although it did make women's sport more interesting. Like seeing a big, somebody who's 2 foot taller, like Hulk Hogan going in there.
Yeah, I think it tends to be people who aren't interested in sport. They don't care, like a woman's worked her whole life to get somewhere in sport. It tends to be academic people who don't care that it's ruining, women's lives, who have made that their whole goal.
Absolutely. Well, there's still rowing and cycling. So do you think they're going to take note? They're still allowing basically biological men in their sport. Do you think they're going to take note from this?
I think they'll have to, because it just becomes so ridiculous and there'll be so much pressure, hopefully.
We'll see.